Hello, my name is Mark, bringing you a new video game review show called Rocky Gamers. My focus areas include both classic and modern age gaming, but what a way to introduce myself. This is Super Mario Bros. Deluxe for the Game Boy Color. There are many different game modes to keep you occupied in Super Mario Bros. Deluxe. Obviously there is the original mode from 1985, you saw that on the menu back there. And that's essentially the Nintendo Entertainment System release with some slightly enhanced graphics, and of course it's optimised for the smaller Game Boy Color screen. The concept remains though: make your way through the levels, collect the coins, protect the Mushroom Kingdom, and of course have lots of fun, which you can't have enough of when playing Mario games. I'll talk more about the game modes throughout this review, but for now I want to have a look at the level design of the original game. And I think these fireworks coming up closely resemble the opening of Rocky Gamers. I guess you can consider it a ceremony. It may be a bit unorthodox, but let's start by looking at the boss levels of this game, often referred to as castles. And they aren't particularly difficult when looking at them from a platform perspective, but there is a puzzle element where you have to look at. You have to decide a specific route to take in the later levels, but for now, obviously there's only one single route because it's the first boss stage. And when Mario finally defeats Bowser, he's told the princess is in another castle. He moves straight onto the next world without any fuss at all after destroying the castle. The level is already beginning to get harder, but you see them stray bound blocks down there? Well, eventually they get fire chains attached to them in later levels. The level does tend to get more challenging. Now we can defeat Bowser in two different ways. We can either use fireballs, as I'm doing now, it's only if Mario is equipped with a fire flower, or we can simply jump over him onto the moving platform and finally collect the axe, which causes the bridge to collapse and Bowser falls into the lava below. If Bowser isn't on the bridge remains intact when you collect the axe. And here you can decide which path to take. I took the upper one, but in some other castles there is a compulsory route you have to take a number of times before reaching Bowser, and they can be quite challenging if you're new to the game. Obviously time is running out and there's no way to bypass the obstacles you come across on that route. I like how Mario can jump up at a specific block, collecting as many coins as possible, and the faster you hit it, the more coins you get. Now we have a temporary invincibility power up, so Mario can dash into the enemies to kill them. Usually without this power up, Mario can either jump on an enemy, or use a safer method in my opinion, which is to use fireballs if you have a fire flower equipped. Here we see one of the water levels, which can be quite challenging without fireballs or even if you have a mushroom equipped. And the bloober, which is the jellyfish-like creature, is probably one of the more difficult enemies to defeat here, mainly because of its movement patterns. As you can see, I had no power-ups intact, so I was skimming the top surface, praying that I won't get hit. The bloobers do rest every few moves, allowing them to either defeat them or you can simply move on. And this one surprised me a bit. I was expecting him to go left. here's a level I did find very interesting. We see the Cheeps flying through the air. And they made this level fairly challenging to pass without getting hit. The audio in this game is tremendous, and each level type has its own soundtrack, and you can listen to the soundtrack and guess what level type it is, without even having any visuals on the screen. This one in particular is a more cheerful mood to it. Aquatic levels like the one you saw previously are more relaxing, whilst the underground levels have a dark and deep tone to them. If you hold B to sprint when you reach the flag, you can hit the top of it and get a 5,000 point bonus. Now let's have a look at some of the other game modes. First of all, we have the Versus mode, obviously, which is accessible via link cable. And once you complete the original mode for the first time, you access the Lost Worlds. But now let's have a look at Challenge mode. The objective here is to collect the red coins, obtain the required score, and ultimately collect the Yoshi egg, which is well hidden in each level. They can be quite challenging to find. As you can see here, I'm trying to hit as many boxes as possible in order to acquire the correct score. All the hidden items are still intact, obviously, like the one you saw just. That would have been a life in the original game, but this time it's simply worth a few points. And here we have one of Bowser's castles in challenge mode. In general, I think these are easier to get the required score than the regular levels. I like the hidden blocks, particularly here we see the Yoshi egg. And as you can see, I'm trying to accumulate points by collecting as many as I can. Same principle when defeating Bowser. And in this level I actually managed to obtain everything, including the score, which in my opinion, like I said, is easier to get in the castles than the other levels. There's Yoshi hatching for you, perhaps one of my favourite characters in the Mario game series.